Hello pilots and welcome to MotionRC.com. I'm your product specialist Wesley, and today is a fun video for me because I have wanted this aircraft ever since it became available here at MotionRC.com. This is the Black Horse Gilmore. Now, the Gilmore was a very famous aircraft back in the 30s that Roscoe Turner flew. And you're going to see there's a lion on the side of this aircraft because he was famous for taking that lion around with him, and it was part of his mascot of the aircraft. Now, it is one of the most beautiful, striking aircraft of that era, really similar to like a GB or those kind of aircraft back in the racing scene. And like I said, the finish and fit of this aircraft is astonishing to me, and it's a beautiful color scheme too. Now, similar to most of the other aircraft in the Black Horse line, this is a balsa construction with fiberglass reinforcement throughout the aircraft, and then it is covered with a printed covering that is also finished out to make the aircraft look very scale. You're going to notice when you look at this aircraft outside, it looks like it has ribs in the wings. It's actually fully sheeted, but whenever they print the covering, they print the detail of all the ribs into the aircraft, and it's actually pretty cool. Now, the ribs back here on the back of the turtle deck and the fuselage are actually ribs, but on the wing themselves, they are fully sheeted, but it does have that simulated look of a fabric-covered aircraft. Now, going along with the details of this aircraft, you're going to see that the front nose cowling has a dummy radial insert inside of it that looks very good. What I've gone on ahead and done is cut out all around the inside of that to let air flow between the jugs and into the inside of the cowling where my ESC and my motor are mounted. The more cooling you have up here, the better. I will say, if you're going to have that much air coming in, it has to have a way out. There's a lot of air can be coming out around the cowling, but there's air getting in this fuselage. You may want to put some relief holes in the bottom of the aircraft, which we have done ourselves. Now, some of the other details around the aircraft you'll need to install on the cowling itself. It has all these little bumps around the outside of it. That would actually be where the lifters were on the actual aircraft, but you'll need to glue those on. And you also have the fiberglass wheel pants underneath the aircraft that you'll need to put together, but they hold up pretty good so far, and I haven't had any issues with them. The landing gear are held on with 2 screws each on both sides, so if you do damage these, you can just pull them off really easy and service and repair your landing gear on this aircraft. Now, something I really like about all the Black Horse models I've been putting together lately is the hardware that comes in these kits, because you do get everything you're going to need outside of your electronics. So these are fiberglass reinforced control horns on the aircraft with captured ball links that come right in the kit. Doesn't get much better than that. And then on all of your control surfaces, they have recessed actual hinges. They're all pre-drilled for you, but you do need to epoxy these in. I like to use my Benchcraft 30-minute epoxy when I'm doing this. It gives you a little bit of working time, and we've got videos to show you exactly how to do that if you are new to putting together one of these bigger aircraft. Now, another cool thing back here on the back of the aircraft is the elevator is actually completely airfoiled. So when you look at it, it's actually going to have the shape of a wing instead of just being flat like a lot of aircraft are. So nice little scale touch there, and I'm sure it actually helps it fly a little bit better. Now, another nice feature of the Gilmore is the cockpit details of this aircraft. Really good looking clear canopy. You get a painted pilot figure, and the instrument panel is molded out of plastic, and you get all the instruments inside of it. So it does give it a nice look on the inside. And the cool thing is this is just screwed on, so I could get in there and dress it up more if I wanted to put a different pilot in it or whatever else. It's very easy to do it on this aircraft. Now let's get inside the Gilmore. It's very simple. You just reach up here on the top, lift up the hatch using the 2 captured control points on top, and that'll reveal the inside of it. You will be able to see the entire aircraft has the runners and stringers that go down it that have that fiberglass reinforcement on it, and then the entire aircraft is sheeted in balsa wood also. Inside, you're going to see there are tons of room for your hands to get inside of this aircraft. Putting batteries in and out of it is a breeze. It does come with an electric or a gas motor mount. If you use the electric one, It's going to have a space up in the front for your batteries to go, and the tray has a screw in and screw out system to where you can actually take the tray out, put your batteries on the tray outside of the aircraft, then slot it back in and put that screw in, making it much easier to do battery changes on this aircraft. Now on the inside, you're also going to see the 3 servos for the tail mounted in here. All the way around this aircraft, I used the D645MW high-tech servos. High-tech are some of the best servos you could use in these large aircraft. We keep them here at Motion RC. We've been working with them for years, and I've been modeling for as long as I can remember using high-tech servos, guys. So if you're going to be building one of these bigger aircraft, I highly recommend you do use these. They're available here at motionrc.com. Now the cool thing about those 3 servos, you're going to see you have one for each elevator half, and once again, these use a metal rod that goes all the way to the back, that goes through the stringers. There's not going to be any flex. You go right into ball length, so there's not any kind of flex or movement in this system the way they did this. And talk about strong, running 2 of these servos for your elevator. It's just a really good way to do this. And then that middle servo is for your rudder. And the rudder will also control your tail wheel, and it just uses the old simple spring system to hold the tail wheel and pull it back and forth on the ground. Now, while we're down on the inside, also what I want to talk about is how the wing is actually attached in the aircraft. What you're going to see is it's got these 2 screws per wing side, and then there's a metal rod that slides in and goes underneath those, and then when you tighten it down, that fiberglass washer grips up against that, and that holds them in. And I will say the coolest thing about the Gilmore to me is the ease of taking this one apart and taking it to the field. You know, I've done a lot of large aircraft like this. Remember, you only have 1 servo on each wing, so you have 1 servo connector. And then the aircraft is designed in such a way where it's easy to just slide these wings on all by yourself and put it together. So anybody that's done large scale aircraft knows bigger aircraft are usually a little bit harder to put together by yourself. This one is not. Now, of course, the last thing I want to talk about is actually flying the Gilmore. This has been one of my more enjoyable aircraft lately that I've just had a blast with. Now, it is like a World War II fighter is what I would equate it to. The one thing about it, though, is you really need to learn to coordinate your turns. So some guys may even want it where when you put a little bit of aileron in, it automatically puts a little rudder in to bring that nose around. Because if you don't, you'll notice the aircraft kind of pitches the nose up and kind of comes around the turn ugly. So if you just put a little bit of rudder in and coordinate your turn, it'll come right around and look really nice. Slow speed flying characteristics, it's an amazing flying aircraft. Even though it's huge and it weighs about 20 pounds, the size is actually really light for what it is. So it's very nimble, and the stall is very forgiving on this aircraft. I actually took it up and intentionally stalled it, and I mean, you have to really be trying to get this thing to get upset. So it's designed very well in the way this aircraft actually flies. Landing it is an absolute breeze. I bring it in, I just hold it off, float it, float it, float it, and it'll set down just as nice as can be as in a 3-point landing. I've really just been enjoying the heck out of flying this. Speaking of flying it, let's talk about some rates and expo now. For the ailerons, I have 40 millimeter of travel with 20% expo, and I do not have any cuts to those. I just run it at 100% all the time. I feel like you really need the authority with this big bird to move her around. Now for the elevator, my high rate is 50 millimeters with 25% expo. My mid rate is 45 millimeters with 20% expo. And my low rates are 35 millimeters with 20% expo. Now for the rudder, I also just keep this at 100%, but I do run 30% expo to make it softer on the ground for steering purposes. Well, pilots, it's been my absolute pleasure showing you around the Gilmore. These big, giant scale aircraft are some of the most fun you can have in model aviation, and this one definitely did not disappoint. I am gonna keep this one in my personal hangar for many years. I wanna say a big thank you to Bob DePinta. He kind of surprised me. We were at the Frank Tiano fly-in last weekend, And I got to fly this with him, and I was enjoying it so much, and he turned to me and said, "Wes, why don't you just take it home?" So, you know, the people in model aviation still blow me away every day. If you see Bob out there on Facebook or anywhere else, make sure you say hi to him. He's a really good man. If you get to fly with him at a fly-in, he's a lot of fun. And as always, whether it's land, air, or sea, you can get it right here at Motion RC. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye!